2 o'clock. It being 2 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. As usual, I would like to start the meeting with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we could all rise. Have a moment of silence for our comrades. Thank you. If we could have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please be seated. Well, I'd like to welcome people who are here. The last meeting we had snow and was worried about the number of people, but there was more people here then. So maybe this meeting will be quick today. But in any case, thank you for coming. I'd like to start with the introduction of commissioners, a brief bio of who we are and what we've done. My name is George Ginder. Presently I'm the chairman of this commission. I'm a military retiree with 25 years active duty and served in Vietnam and was a combat wounded veteran. We want to keep it brief today, so let me start on my right with Tony Boyle. Tony, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tony Boyle. I'm a member of the Philadelphia Police Department. I'm also a 35-year veteran of the United States Air Force. And Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all.
Kevin McCluskey from here in Philadelphia. I served in the 101st Airborne, where I was injured in Afghanistan in 2008. And this is my first meeting.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. The name is Joe Melendez. I served in Vietnam with the United States Army. I retired from the city of Philadelphia. I was a chief inspector with the police department. I am now very active with the VFW, American Legion, and the DAV. And I'm also on the advisory council of the Medical Center and the Louis J. Saraceni Outpatient Clinic. Thank you for being here.
Hello, my name is Andre McCoy. I'm very thankful for the Army win over Navy here in the city. I have over 30 years. I have over 30 years of service, both enlisted and officer, active, reserve, and National Guard, all combat arms, artillery, tanks, and mech infantry. Just a reminder to everybody, we're all volunteers. This commission is unpaid. We're thankful to be here by the city to help resolve veterans' issues at the lowest level possible and to provide information, which is what you guys are doing for us, and to maybe get some answers for you from us. So thank you all for being here, and I understand there's more people coming in, so thanks for being here.
All right, let's get started on the speakers making testimony today. Our first person that we had, Carlo, the director of the Veterans Advisory Commission, he was called away on family emergency, so he will not be attending today, but we'll move right on. Is Tiffany Keene here today? Tiffany, if you would come up to the desk. Tiffany represents Drexel University. If you would just speak into the mic, introduce yourself, give your name. For the stenographer.
Hello, my name is Tiffany McKinney. I'm the Assistant Director of Veteran Services at Drexel University. So I am here today just to kind of highlight some critical issues that our veteran students have been facing. And these are in direct correlation to the ongoing problems that the VA has recently experienced due to some of the updates to the new Forever GI Bill. Due to the IT systems crashes that the VA experienced, our entire post 9/11 GI Bill student population, and as many of you are probably aware, it's not just regional, it's nationally, they were faced with delays in receiving their monthly housing allowance. So this in turn created major financial hardships for a lot of these people. The only fix that was being relayed to us as well as to our students was just to have them file a hardship with the VA. However, in doing that, it created another backlog in that system, which already had a processing time of a few weeks. So these students were facing immediate hardships. Some of them were facing eviction, late rent, loss of any housing, accounts going into collections, among other different issues as well. So we as a community are just looking for possible routes of advocacy in these immediate situations. Currently, we've actually joined together with other institutions within the region and surrounding areas to create a consortium. And our primary goal is to share some of our best practices, knowledge, and different experiences that we have to advocate on behalf of our military-connected students. We have had one meeting so far, so if there is anyone else who'd like to learn more, or if there was any other people that would like to join in the consortium, they can contact Dr. Rebecca Weidensaul at Drexel University, who's one of the heads of it. And then any additional assistance or information that you all can give us as well to advocate in these situations would be greatly appreciated. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. Any
Tiffany?
questions, gentlemen?
Before you leave, and the commissioners may have some questions, but could you give us your information as far as either websites, emails, telephone, et cetera, to where people can reach out to you, how to get in touch, and more specifically, what it is that we can do to help you? And I'm curious, is this problem continuing, and have they gotten their payments that were due, say, last month, et cetera? Are they caught up, or is it still an issue?
So in regards to the issues, they have, from what I've seen, speaking to a lot of my students, they have started to catch up. A lot of them have finally received housing allowance. Now, these are coming in lump sum payments, so they hadn't received housing allowance for 2 to 3 months, because the way they do initially pay is that it's the month or the month following when they start. So not only are they not getting that month right away, now they're waiting 2, 3 additional months. So most of them have gotten it. And from communication that we've just received from the VA within the last week, they don't expect the issues to continue on, at least into the following terms. They've pretty much gotten rid of the backlog, but they are looking to roll out what they initially had crashed their systems. They're looking to roll it out now in 2020. So they're reverting everyone back to the old pay scale, just to kind of make up for it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in 2020 when they try to roll it back out. Hopefully that they are going to get the updated IT systems, but currently now they said the backlog is starting to go away and everyone's getting their payments. As far as contact information, I can give my personal email and work phone number. And then there's a website. We don't really have a website, especially for the consortium yet, so it's really just individual people. I mean, I can give out my phone number and email if you'd like me to do that now.
Yes, please.
Okay. So my phone number at work is 215-571-4573, and that's my office. And then my email address at work is Tango Lima Delta 77@drexel.edu. And then I can forward on any communications, anything like that, to Dr. Weidensaul, who can then send it out to the rest of the consortium group.
Thank you.
All right, another quick question. You said a consortium. Is that part of the Delaware Valley Veterans Consortium?
It's not. So
It's different.
Dr. Weidensaul and Hank Gillen from St. Joe's University kind of came together just to gather the local universities. I know we have communications with Delaware Valley, but it's not in direct correlation with them. So we just kind of came together, pulled certifying officials and different advocates from the universities just to kind of form another way of advocating for the students instead of just our own single universities.
And feel free to pass on our regards to Rebecca and everybody over there, the Gillens. You know, both Mo and her husband, phenomenal advocates for veterans.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I just wanted to say something real fast, that there is 2 funds that I know that really help out with these lapse in payments, and I know that for a few of my friends, when they changed their bank accounts, that the payment didn't come through for a month, 2 months, and they kind of got backed up on that. I know that the Semper Fund is one of them, and the Army Relief Fund is one. So
Okay.
that's 2 organizations that would go out of the way to help out the people that are in need right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
And I'm doing it now. If I haven't mentioned it before, other than the questions being asked of each person making testimony, please try to keep the testimony to a limit of 5 minutes, okay? Thank you. Next person we have on the agenda is Jake Russer. Is he here? Hello, Jake. Please come up.
Looks like Jake's here in force.
Yeah, it looks like he's,
Jake's here in force with a
Really
couple
do.
of folks from the Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge. I see Ed behind you, and also Pat. It's good to see you guys.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacob J. Ruser Jr. I served as a combat medic with the 2nd Battalion Medical Detachment, 12th Infantry Regiment, the 4th Infantry Ivy Division. I participated in all 5 major campaigns in Europe during World War II. I am here to represent the Delaware Valley Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge. Several years ago, our group realized that Philadelphia does not have a monument or a memorial in respect to all the men and women from Philadelphia who served this country during World War II, which is often called the greatest generation. It is hard to believe that with so many active veteran organizations in the area and no memorial to World War II. I want to congratulate the Korean War veterans and the Vietnam War veterans for their memorial to educate the future generations. Our Battle of the Bulge Committee had put memorials in Arlington National Cemetery, at Valley Forge Military Academy in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and another in the state of Maine. Our chapter is trying to erect a monument in the city of Philadelphia. I don't know if you are knowledgeable about the Battle of the Bulge during World War II. It started on 16th December 1944, a Saturday morning. The Germans started shelling a front 75 miles wide, about 5:30 a.m. This area was defended by 2 new divisions from the States and 2 depleted divisions. The Germans penetrated through the Ardennes Forest, a region in eastern Belgium and northern Luxembourg. Some battle facts. The battle began on 16 December 1944, lasted to 25 January 1945. During this battle, more than 1 million men took part as follows: 600,000 Americans, 500,000 Germans, 55,000 British. And the casualties, Germany, 100,000. Americans, 81,000, including 19,000 killed. British had 1,400, including 200 killed. And their German losses were 800 tanks and 1,000 aircraft. Americans lost 800 tanks. This battle, the Battle of the Bulge, got its name from the Germans pushing the front line back, forming in the shape of a bulge. The Battle of the Bulge turned out to be the largest land battle the United States Army ever fought. It is time for our current and future generations to know where their freedom came from. I often ask, what if we lost this battle? It was closer than people realize. Thank you for your time, and maybe you will have some ideas how we can expedite our memorial. I was going to introduce a veteran, but he was put into a nursing home yesterday. But Matt Regula was supposed to be here today. He's a young 99 years old and still active. And I want to thank everybody for your patience and help. Thank you.
Well, Jake, I have a question, but first, I'd like to thank you for your service, and I'd like the commission to give you a round of applause.
Here, 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 here.
Now, what can we do to assist with this monument? What initiatives has your group started to,
Pardon?
what can we do to assist with the monument? What initiatives,
Well, we're
initiatives
trying
has?
to get a monument. We were trying to locate some areas in the city to put the monument, and we have run into some difficulties. So we may have to ask for more assistance from council to get us permission to get some land or something. But
Could I
we
have your phone number,
originally
Jake?
started out that we were trying to get by the Franklin Institute, near the aviation area there, where the plane is, and we got different replies on that, so which weren't favorable. So we're still trying to put it in the city somewhere, but we would think it's about time that the city. It's almost 75 years, 74 years this year, and next year will be our 75th year, and still no monument to World War II in the city, which is a disgrace.
Jake, may I have your phone number? Either you give it to me now or afterwards.
Pardon?
But I'd like to have your phone number.
My phone number?
You can either give it to me now or after the meeting.
I'll give it to you after
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Great, thank you, sir.
Is
Thank
there, Jake, a couple questions?
Yes, sir.
A couple questions. Particularly since this is being televised, is there an email or an organizational address where if people want to help or want to donate or want to give suggestions, how they can reach out to get in touch with you or with someone with the Battle of the Bulge organization?
There's a fund been set up. It's under the Battle of the Bulge Monument, Philadelphia. And the address is to the American Legion Post 405, which is the Benjamin Franklin Post. Benjamin Franklin, American Legion Post 405.
Right.
And they're taking care of the financial situation. The funds covered by, set up by them.
And that's at the Union League, right?
Yeah, it's at the Union League, what's that, Sampson Street or?
Right, South Broad Street. So there's two websites, if I understand correctly, Jake. One is, if you do a Google search for Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge, it's a .org website. And then the second one, that's to find out more information. And the second website is for funds that are specifically being handled specifically for the monument through the American Legion Post 405 at the Union League Benjamin Franklin Post. So there's two websites to go to, is that
Two
correct?
of them, I didn't realize they had two of them.
Well, one for information, which is Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge, you guys, .org.
Whichever one, and we can get the money into it, but we're going to have to go out and ask for donations. But first, we got to decide how much the monument's going to cost us, and if we get a place to put it.
Has there been a design or anything
There's
suggested
several
or created?
been presented and designed and submitted, but we haven't had any approved yet. So this is the thing that's still hanging. So we're hoping that we can get something off the ground and get it moving. So I appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, is Michael Woody here? Hello, Michael. Michael's with the 360 Leadership Group.
Yes, Sergeant. Good to see you again, Woody.
Yes, Michael Woody, 360 Leadership. I'm a retired Army Ranger, 21 years of service, combat tours in Iraq and Panama. I retired out of Temple University, actually did an internship in this building right there with Mr. Will Carter. And then I graduated as a 42-year-old veteran and went on to get my MBA at Villanova. Since then, I decided to start my own business, which is 360 Leadership, and I take the military concepts that I learned in the military to train leaders and translate that for the civilian sector. What that does is actually takes people on a pipeline from learning leadership in the classroom to experiential exercises outside where they can be evaluated to assure they got the lessons. What that does is help bridge the gap between military and civilian. It actually helps employ a lot of veterans who, even if they don't have a job, they know the standards of leadership and evaluation if they had a leadership position inside the military, and it just opens a lot of opportunity. With that, as a veteran who's disabled veteran that goes through their vocational rehab here at the VA, I'm entitled to a self-employment benefit. The self-employment benefit allows veterans the opportunity to forego going to school or going to college and just work on getting their business. However, that benefit is very unrefined, and actually the people here do not know how to put it together. So I'm kind of the wind dummy to have that execute. So even though I'm in business, I've been trying to access that benefit for some time now. I would tell you it's probably been about 2.5 years I've been trying to access that benefit. Is there anything else would you like to know about me?
Right, so Sergeant Woody, you brought to my attention this self-employment benefit from the VA, and after 2.5 years, you're able to kind of streamline that. My understanding is that you now know the process pretty well, and a lot of veterans, as you informed me, are not aware of this self-employment VA benefit that's available to them. So there's a lot of veteran-owned businesses like yours. You're a veteran-owned business, 360 Leadership. And there's a lot of these veteran-owned businesses that aren't aware of it and can apply for it. That's correct, right?
That is correct. There has been a lot of movement to help veterans start businesses. There are a couple organizations here and universities that help with the accelerator programs. However, if a veteran has 20% disability related to service, they are entitled to the self-employment benefit. I myself, I've actually had my graduate school paid by the vocational rehab. However, being part of my disability is PTSD, and some situations are harder for me than others. Self-employment is beneficial to me. But the VA here is not practiced in putting that together. So even though you have all this activity in the Philadelphia, you've probably seen it in the news and in the paper of all these businesses that are veteran-owned trying to get a start. Here's a benefit that actually helps them out, and I came up with a process where a veteran would enroll, go through a 11 or 12-week course to get them prepared, because the VA is supposed to access the knowledge of the Small Business Development Center and other small business centers to help the veteran out on the business plans and actually help them to get loans and get the money that's related to starting a business. What that would do, it would help a whole bunch of contractors that would help that business. So that's money that the veteran would get that goes right back into the economy. And then you start a whole population of veterans are starting businesses, but they also tend to employ other veterans.
And they pay taxes, and they contribute as opposed to being on the receiving end. So thank you for that. What's the name of the website for your company? And you also do public speaking as well as business coaching, is that correct?
Yes, I do. So my website is www.360leadershiptraining.com. And yes, I do leadership. Yeah, I do public speaking, and I train. Absolutely, right now we're putting together a 5-day leadership development course in Wilmington. It's a primer to do the same thing in Philadelphia in February.
Michael, I have a question. This little-known program, this self-business program, is there a time limitation on that for the veterans?
That's an interesting question because I've been trying to track this down for 2 years, and I've had the same counselor, and there is a time limit. However, because the institution is not practiced in putting it together, they have not put the network for it together. They don't know the services. They don't even know what to do. And I would love to blame my counselor and the manager over there, but the VA has not trained these people on what to do. So there's money dedicated to veterans that are trying to start a business, and this program is out there. And being the second largest city on the East Coast, there are a whole bunch of opportunities for veterans from window cleaning to open their own brokerage, but they can't do the process. And so what I did is I came up with a process myself because I'm going through it myself, and I know exactly what key points need to be hit, what they need to say in the business plan, and how they need to approach the Small Business Development Center in order to streamline that to getting access to, they don't get money, just like how you would pay tuition, they would get somebody to, the VA counselor is supposed to pay for the equipment, whether it's for office or the extra things they need. They don't get the cash. So that contractor that's helping the veteran getting furniture or whatever, like I said, that's money that goes right back into the economy, and it helps enable that business to go forward. And as we know, there's a huge veteran community that's prepared to welcome these veteran businesses in. My intent is to make Philadelphia the #1 veteran business city.
That's why I asked that question. I know they're not going by the letter of the policy, but what was the established timeline on that? How much time does a veteran have after they exit the military to take advantage of this program? Do you know?
How much time have they invested into?
Yeah, I know there's limitations on a lot of the programs.
It's very ambiguous, to be honest with you. Like I said, I've actually been trying to do this for 2.5 years. I do have a memorandum I can forward to you. The link, it has it just basically tells the counselor how to address certain parts of the program. But because they're not qualified, what I'm trying to do by starting a program is basically get a whole bunch of people knocking at the door and force them to understand that there's a benefit that we as veterans can benefit from.
Okay.
Michael, just a quick question and a suggestion. Have you gotten any of your congressmen involved in putting a little fire under the VA? And also for your 360 leadership training, how long is it? What costs, if any, are involved, and who's eligible, and how do people find out more information?
Okay, thank you. I did contact the governor's office, the mayor's office, and my congressman's office when I couldn't get any traction. And what happened last year was I wound up in Governor Wolf's Veterans Advisory Panel and addressing the state representatives on some of the veteran issues. It's still a problem because the entrepreneurship for veteran services is a good story. However, when you look around and you talk about veterans, you also talk about a lot of the problems. And the problems seem to cloud what good things that veterans are doing. I could go all day about that, but you asked me another question about the leadership training I do. It's catered. I do 1 hour training sessions. I do 3 hour, 2 days. It's just me. I have a network of veterans I have access to. Actually, it's nationwide. And what I do is I program an event. I get them in, get them trained, and then we move forward. And we just do good old, I would say, Army stuff from there.
Is there a cost involved, and is there eligibility requirements to enter?
There are costs involved. You're talking about for me to do business,
For the individual that wants to take advantage of the training.
Right, I'm not a nonprofit. I'm a for-profit company. So I cater my cause for nonprofits or for corporate rates. I have corporate rates, and I'm trying to penetrate some of the university systems to teach a semester-long leadership course. So the costs vary, to be honest with you.
And the eligibility.
Eligibility, I really don't have one. My intent is to actually make better people that make better decisions, something.
So it's not specifically a veteran-focused service. It's open to anyone.
Veterans are actually the last client I want to see. I'm using the veterans to actually teach
Okay,
because of their unique experience and unique skills.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Great. Thank you for your time, Mike. It was informative.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Jose Morales, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Please come forward. Jose's with the Philly Firearm Academy.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Morales. I am a small business owner and an Army veteran. I'm the owner of Philly Firearms Academy. I'm here at the request and invitation of Director Aragoncillo, who felt that individuals should know a little bit about my particular firearms organization, what we do. I focus on firearm safety training and education for civilians primarily, but I have a passion for our veterans as well, given the hot button topic that firearms are in our society and all of the gun violence that's out there, and the fact that, in my opinion, all firearms tragedies can be avoided through education and through dialogue. I wanted to come and just introduce myself, let you guys know that there is a firearms instructor and an organization that just trains civilians and individuals on firearm safety and the laws having to do with use of that gun. A lot of our veterans in particular come back with PTSD. They have licenses to carry, they get firearms, and that's their constitutional right. But along with that, there are no resources that I see out there that teach them the laws having to do with the use of that gun. And it's really what we don't know, both as civilians and as veterans, that are going to get us in trouble, especially if we're Second Amendment advocates and we're just trying to protect ourselves. So again, I just wanted to introduce myself, say a little bit about what I do, and I would be, particularly interested in offering services to veterans in particular, especially those that are interested in becoming firearms instructors, for example. We have a great need for ambassadors in the communities to learn and teach firearm safety. I say this because I was fortunate enough to be invited to Albert Einstein Medical Center to present to the pediatric department on firearm safety. And it really came about because in a conversation, one of the administrators was speaking to an individual that worked in the pediatrics department, and the physicians didn't know that gun locks came with every single legally purchased firearm. And so they said, well, I know a firearms instructor. Would your department be interested in learning a little bit about firearm safety? And, the rest really just kind of worked itself out. I was able to present to both interns and residents at the pediatric center. And the day after, I received a really wonderful email saying that they were more productive in their interviews with their patients than they've ever been before, because we took the time to just discuss a hot button topic, and a topic that unfortunately is all too driven by emotion and not by logic and education. So I don't want to hold up the proceedings any longer and ramble anymore, but again, I just wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know that there is such a resource in the event that you need an unbiased opinion and information on firearms and all those hot button topics. Thank you.
Jose, I have a question. What is your background?
I am an Army veteran with over 25 years of educational and teaching experience. I'm a certified firearms instructor. I'm also a certified, what's called a training counselor, which is an instructor of instructors. I'm a certified to instruct and to certified firearms instructors in pretty much every discipline, from pistol, rifle, shotgun. I'm not going to go over my CV. It's on my website, and I can actually mention it to you. But that's
You say you're certified to
teach
train
both civilians and also certified instructors.
You say you're certified to train the instructors.
Yes, sir.
And you're the certifier.
Yes, sir. To train certified instructors
And
and
who
range safety
certifies
officers.
you?
The National Rifle Association offers certifications. If you meet the requirements, you become a certified instructor under the oldest organization that established firearm safety and training. I don't work for the NRA. I'm just certified by the NRA at some of my instructorships.
I don't know if you're aware that in the state of Pennsylvania, the state police actually certifies all the firearm instructors for the city, for the whole state.
Well, they are responsible for what's called lethal weapons training, Act 235.
Yes.
Right, which is it's security guard training. It's actually just lethal weapons training for individuals that carry firearms in the course of their duties. I'm just a certified firearms instructor and a safety instructor for civilians. I don't claim to be a military or law enforcement instructor, sir.
Well, I retired from the City of Philadelphia Police Department for 40 years. I was a chief. As a matter of fact, I was in charge of the training bureau for the City of
Well,
Philadelphia.
thank you for your service.
Thank you. And also, never mind. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Jose, where is your academy located, and if people are interested, do you have a website or?
Yes, it's
whatever?
phillyguntraining.com, PHILLY guntraining.com. My email is Jose, Jose, at phillyguntraining.com. And I'm currently located in Willow Grove. So don't let the name fool you. We'll train anybody in Philadelphia. It used to be actually right across the street from the gun permits unit at 990 Spring Garden Street, the old Coliseum's gun store, till about a year and a half, 2 years ago. We moved to Willow Grove.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chris Whittle, are you here?
Chris, besides being an all-around great guy, is also with the PNC and donates a lot of his time to including being on the board of the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network. I've known Chris off and on for several years. Chris?
Well, good afternoon. I am Chris Whittle. Today I'm here to represent the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network. I am a Navy veteran. I left active service in 1999 as a rescue swimmer and helicopter crewman. So I wanted to let you know what GPVN's doing, and we've been serving the Greater Philadelphia veteran community since 2011. The goal of GPVN is to build an ecosystem of successful veteran employers, leaders, and veteran-owned businesses. We'd like to see Philadelphia become the premier destination for veterans and employers of veterans as they look for new territory to expand or they transition out of the military. So we'd like to thank a couple of the council members, David O, for supporting our veteran community and speaking at some of our events, and Councilman Darrell Clark for his support in the annual Veterans Fair that's held each year in the Veteran Parade. I'd also like to thank Carlo, who's not here, because he's been instrumental in bringing together various veteran service organizations to serve the community. And it's been great collaborating with him on various initiatives. Our motto is our tools, your mission, and that speaks volumes. We're at the center of a network of veterans, business owners, professionals, CEOs, students, transitioning veterans, and our role's complex, but it's very simple. We help determine what the goal is, whether we're working with a veteran or working with an employer who wants to hire veterans, and we use our tools, our network, our resources to make that happen. And some of the tools and programs that we use for veterans, student veterans, we use speed networking and interviewing to help them learn those skills. For employers, we have Take a Vet to Work Day. X for the veterans and the employers. So we have a Take a Vet to Work Day and Take an Employer to Base Day. So we bring people together so that they can learn what the other side's doing. Because it's difficult to hire veterans if you don't understand what they're doing. We actually helped TD Bank rewrite their whole veteran recruiting platform. So one of our most recent initiatives is our Veteran Business Referral Network. And so this is something that we do on a quarterly basis where we bring 40 veterans or so together, and it ends up being 6 times a year. And we developed this because 50% of veterans were leaving their first position out of the military within the first 2 years. And that's an adjustment issue from military to civilian employment. So you go from service to being employed, and service to profit makes a big difference. And so what we did, we created this network to address it. And so these professional veterans who are currently employed come together to increase their skills, building their personal brand, expanding their veteran network, and giving them more tools to be successful. We bring in subject matter experts on topics revolving around resilience, networking, leadership, and more. And the sessions result in stronger retention of veteran employees because they've increased confidence, a broader network, and greater resources. For example, we did a program on leadership where Michael Woolley, behind me here, the CEO of 360 Leadership, he came in and did a talk to our group on leadership and what it means to be a leader. We had John Titus of Comcast, a retired Navy captain, work with our group on staying a leader outside the military. We brought Erica Webster, CEO of Dub Fitness, in to talk about creating and managing your brand as a veteran. So those are some of the things we do. Most recently, we just wrapped up our signature event, which is the Veteran Shark Tank. And this is our 6th event, and we kicked off Army-Navy Week with it. It was a sold-out crowd at the Union League. And what it does, it brings veterans, competitors, and judges and spectators from across the country to Philadelphia. So we've become a national event, and they compete for $25,000 in cash and business services. So it's $25 in cash and business services on top of that. And they become a part of our network for life. And the next year's event will be even bigger. We've created an all roads lead to Philadelphia format for this year. We're going to have regional competitions in Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and Florida. Regional winners and sponsors and spectators will come back to Philadelphia to the Fitler Club, and they're going to compete for a $50,000 prize and business services. And they'll hear from a soon-to-be named keynote speaker. And so this national event, combined with our programs and veteran community, are moving Philadelphia towards that being the premier destination for Philadelphia veterans. And so we appreciate your continued support, your volunteerism, and you can learn more about GPVN at gpvn.org, and you can learn more about the Shark Tank through veteransharktank.com.
My understanding, GPVN.org it stands for Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network.
That's correct.
And it's your overarching organization, and that the Veterans Business Referral Network is one of your new initiatives under GPVN.
Correct.
And that Carlo, specifically the city, has been involved with that very early on. The Veterans Shark Tank has been going on for 6 years.
Yes.
And it's widely successful. The most recent winner was Cowboy Crickets, and
Yes.
and it's a very unique product. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job, you and Alex Orkowski.
Thank you.
Chris, I missed your signature event. I missed, what was the name of that?
Veteran Shark Tank.
That was the Shark Tank? Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And the next on our list is Kathy Santos. Is she here? I don't see her.
I don't see Kathy Santos, but I just want to recognize Larry. How are you, Larry? Good to see you. Larry? Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah. And what organization are you with again? I know you're not on the agenda, but what organization are you with again, Larry?
Just about everyone on the
You are the advocate of the advocates for veterans. Yeah.
Thank God I'm not eligible for the paralyzed veterans workers.
Okay, well then I guess we'll wrap this up. We'd like to thank all the speakers and the.
I want to speak too. I gave my remarks to the reporter. I mean, I submitted remarks. It's a half a page email.
Well, Patricia, is that your name? Patricia?
Love.
You're not on the docket, but however, we can hear you for a few minutes.
Patty is also with the Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge and has been a staunch advocate for them for a very long time. And as mentioned earlier, Matt, who just recently went into a nursing home, he's almost 100 years old in the next few months. Patty has been extremely helpful to Matt over many years.
I guess I should sit here. I take care of him. I take care of Matt, and I'm his neighbor, and I've been camped out at his house for the last couple of years since he fell a few Christmases ago.
We had him with
bathroom.
us. We had him with the commission at the Veterans Parade this year.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, so you have my contact information on the speech, since I wrote an email to myself, dictated it, sent it to my house, and printed on my computer, whatever. The Historical Society of Pennsylvania, located at 13th and Locust Street, has 21 boxes of 3x5 cards, which lists each soldier from the Philadelphia area who was wounded or killed in World War II. These 20,000 3x5 cards were generated by the defunct Philadelphia Record. That newspaper routinely published lists of Philadelphia area servicemen who were killed, wounded, missing, or prisoners of war during World War II. That just shows that there are a lot of people from Philly who were wounded or killed in World War II, although to get exact figures, it's a bit of a research project, perhaps having to go to the Mormon Church website, which it'll take some time to find out the exact number. I am here today as recording secretary for the Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge Association Delaware Valley chapter to advocate for a commemorative memorial of the Battle of the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge was the largest land battle ever fought, counting even the Battle of Gettysburg during the Civil War. Over 100,000 soldiers died during the Battle of the Bulge. Jake has more accurate figures than I do, but it is fitting that the city has honored its fallen veterans of Vietnam and other wars. However, we still need a monument to World War II and to the Battle of the Bulge in particular. And I wanted to say, you gentlemen are probably aware of the World War II Memorial in Pennsylvania Station. I was looking at pictures of that online, but that's for the employees of the Pennsylvania Railroad. It might be nationwide, all the employees who died in World War II. But we would ask the city and the Veterans Commission to help us as much as they can to get city approval for a public site for the memorial in a prominent location, such as Aviator Park, across from the Franklin Institute. So, and school kids would be able to see that. It'd be very instructive if there were a nice memorial there. And we do have designs for the memorial that are very attractive, including a bronze sculpture of a kneeling soldier in a foxhole, and also some granite plaques, which would have granite stones, which would have plaques or engravings with text concerning the Battle of the Bulge. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Patricia?
Yes.
And I'm sure the stenographer will. I didn't catch your last name.
Oh, Lowe. Oh, L-O-W-E.
Okay.
So it's
And,
here with my email. If you have questions, you can certainly email me.
Okay.
I will be going to Toronto for a while.
My question is, the monument that you're seeking to erect, is it specifically for the Battle of the Bulge, or is it for World War II collectively?
Well, I think depending on the size of the monument, there'll be text about both World War II and the Battle of the Bulge. There's going to be text describing the Battle of the Bulge in particular. The kneeling soldier in a foxhole, I think that would apply to the whole European campaign. And the Marines were the ones that were involved more in the Pacific, so it'll probably be, I concentrate on the European theater, but I mean, it could certainly commemorate
All the
World
battles
War
of the war.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just depends how much money we raise and how much text, engraved text we can put up, how many granite slabs there can be, in addition to the bronze statue. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat.
Benjamin Berry just came in.
We're going to adjourn. And where's he at? He's not on the list. Go ahead, go ahead.
Mr. Benjamin Barry, could you please stand up? My understanding is that you and also Jake, you guys go back and forth about who's older, right? How old are you, Ben? 95? So Jake, you're 94? Jake, you're 94? 94, so you guys keep going back and forth about who's older, and you're both veterans of World War II? Yeah, and you're here for VBOB, of course, right? Veterans of the Battle of the Bulge? Yeah.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you for your service. Okay, we'd like to thank all our speakers today. The information received was interesting, and we hope it will reach out to the extended veteran community also via the telecast. Our next meeting will be in March of 2019. The date will be established at a later time. Again, we'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Travel safely and have a happy holiday season. Thank you.
I mean,